If you're always reaching out while your partner seems to pull away, or if you feel overwhelmed or suffocated when your partner gets too close, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Rose Viggiano, a master level relationship coach and attachment specialist. And today we're diving into the anxious-avoidant relationship dynamic, what it is, why it's so common and so painful, and how to know whether it's worth working on or when it might be time to let it go. Let's start with what we're actually talking about when we say anxious-avoidant dynamic. This pairing is made up of two people with seemingly opposite but equally insecure attachment styles. The anxious partner tends to crave more connection, closeness, and reassurance that their partner loves them and isn't going anywhere. Under stress, they might become hyper-focused on the relationship and feel panicked if they perceive emotional distance. Their biggest fear is abandonment from their partner. The avoidant partner, on the other hand, is more self-focused. They value independence, tend to minimize their need for intimacy, and often feel overwhelmed or even smothered when someone gets emotionally too close. Deep down, they may fear being engulfed or losing themselves in the relationship. So what happens when these two get together? You get the classic push-pull cycle. The more the anxious partner reaches out for closeness, the more the avoidant partner pulls away to protect their space. But the more the avoidant partner pulls away, the more anxious the other becomes, and around it goes. Even though this dynamic is painful, the anxious-avoidant partnership often feels amazing in the beginning. Why? Because it's familiar. The anxious partner is used to inconsistency, so the avoidant's mixed signals don't immediately feel unsafe, they feel like home. And for the avoidant partner, the anxious person's attention feels safe and validating, like, wow, somebody really wants me. Maybe they'll stay, maybe they'll give me what I need. In those early days, the anxious partner gets just enough connection to stay hooked, and the avoidant partner gets just enough space to feel comfortable. It feels like the perfect fit, until both nervous systems start to feel threatened and the old patterns take over. And here's something really important to remember. Both of these attachment styles are trying to protect something vulnerable. The anxious partner is scared of being left. The avoidant partner is scared of being consumed. When you understand that, it gets a lot easier to stop making each other the enemy and start seeing the fears underneath the behavior. That's where compassion can begin. Most anxious-avoidant relationships fall into what's called the protest-pursuit-withdrawal cycle. One partner senses disconnection and starts protesting, texting more, getting louder, demanding reassurance. They're not trying to be dramatic, they're trying to reconnect like their life depends on it. But the other partner, usually the avoidant, feels overwhelmed by that intensity and shuts down or pulls away to protect themselves. The more one partner pursues, the more the other withdraws. And the more they withdraw, the more the first one panics, and the cycle goes around and around. So let's talk about what actually helps, because if you're stuck in this dance, small shifts in behavior can actually make a huge difference. Naming it is the first step to breaking it. We can't change what we can't see, so awareness is crucial in trying to change the pattern. Then here's one powerful tip for each partner. Let's start with the anxious partner, the one who often feels like they're doing all the emotional work, always chasing connection, and living with this constant fear of being too much or not enough. Your tip is practice the pause. When you feel that wave of panic rise, like your partner is pulling away, not texting back fast enough, or seems emotionally withdrawn, your nervous system tells you emergency, emergency. It wants you to reach out right now for reassurance. But that urgency is often coming from your past painful experiences, not the present moment with your partner. So instead of reacting immediately, pause. Even 30 seconds can help. Take a deep breath, put your hand on your heart, ask yourself, is my reaction to what's happening now, or is it old pain flaring up? You can also try grounding. Look around the room and name 5 things you see or can feel. Bring yourself back to your body. Why this helps bridge the gap is avoidant partners often get overwhelmed by emotional intensity. They interpret that urgency as pressure, and that makes them pull away, which just makes you panic even more. When you pause, you give them room to stay in the connection without feeling invaded. You're showing them and yourself that you can self-soothe. This calms the cycle and allows for the emotional closeness without the intensity. Now, if you're the avoidant partner, let's be real. You probably hate conflict, feel easily overwhelmed when emotions run high, and just want space when things feel too intense. Your tip is communicate before you disappear. When you need space, you don't have to justify it, but you do need to signal that you're still emotionally invested. A simple sentence like, I care about us. I just need a little bit of time to myself and I'll come back will go a long way to helping your partner feel safe. Because here's what happens when you don't. Your silence triggers your partner's abandonment wound. They start to panic, reach out more, get louder, more emotional, and suddenly you're in a dynamic that feels suffocating to you, which just reinforces your urge to retreat. See how that cycle feeds itself? But when you give a little reassurance before stepping away, it's like an anchor for your anxious partner. It tells them, you're still important to me, even when I need space. And when they don't feel like they're being dropped or ghosted, they won't cling as hard. You actually get more of the space you need without damaging the connection. That's the magic. These small shifts, the anxious partner pausing, the avoidant partner communicating, start to heal the nervous system tug of war you're both in. You both get what you're needing, space and closeness, without the constant triggering. So can this relationship actually work? Yes, but only if both people are willing to do the hard work. There are 3 things that absolutely have to be in place for a relationship like this to work. Number 1, self-awareness. Each person needs to understand their attachment style and how it shows up. If you don't know your triggers, you're going to keep reenacting the same fights over and over again. Number 2, willingness to grow. That means therapy, coaching, reading, talking, reflecting. Both of you have to want to change. It doesn't work if one person is dragging the other along. And number 3, patience and repair. You're going to trigger each other. That's normal. What matters is how you come back from it. Can you own your part? Can you soothe each other instead of defending yourself? That's when healing happens. Now, when should you walk away? If one person refuses to take responsibility or denies there's even a problem, it's going to be very hard to move forward. If you've had the same fight 100 times with no insight, no accountability, and no change, that's emotional exhaustion. And if you're constantly questioning your worth, feeling unsafe, or like your needs don't matter, that's not love, that's survival mode. Here's the truth. Love alone isn't enough. You need emotional safety. You need mutual effort. You need a partner who's willing to grow alongside you. You are not too much, you are not too needy, and you don't have to settle for relationships that leave you anxious, overwhelmed, lonely, or confused. That said, anxious-avoidant relationships can work. I've seen it. I've helped hundreds of couples move through it. But it takes commitment, courage, and the daily minute-to-minute choice to meet each other halfway, even when it's uncomfortable. And look, it's not just about fixing what's broken. It's about building new habits that actually create secure connection. Little rituals, shared routines, honest but loving check-ins. You're not just surviving the old pattern, you're co-creating a new one together. If this video resonated with you, hit the subscribe button. I post weekly videos to help you build secure, connected relationships that feel like home. And tell me in the comments, are you in an anxious-avoidant dynamic? What's helped so far? What's been hard? I'd love to hear your story. See you soon.